Hello students, today we'll start a new topic, database concept. It is a very important topic. Let us start. When we speak about an organization, a large amount of data is required to be processed and handled. Okay, this data handling is performed by arranging the data in the form of table and database. Database means what? It is an organized collection of data and informations about an entity. Entity means something that exists or things. It is shared collection of related data informations used to support the activities and decision making of the particular organizations. Okay, so we'll take one example. All files belonging to one organization will be treated as a database of that organizations. Means a database therefore is considered as the repository for the stored data. A few of the components that are very important part of the database, just like tables, records, fields, etc. Okay, consider one example. Suppose school database. The name of the database is school. The database shall constitute tables related to the student, teachers, results, etc. So the data is arranged inside a database as per the file organization's structure. Okay, so we'll discuss one term here first. What is a field? Field means what? It is a set of characters which is used together to represent the specific data elements. It is also termed as the data items. A specific or an individual data item within a record is known as fields. For example, you take suppose roll number, name, age, these are one field in a student's record. Collections of fields is termed as record. Next one is record we are discussing. Example you take, suppose a student record consists of students fields just like roll number, name, age, marks, etc. This is the whole information of the student is known as student record. So collections of logically related records called a file. So a file is also known as the table, or we can say it is in relations. We can say it is in relations. Database therefore place where related places of information are stored for the various operations can be performed on the day. It is highest unit of the organizations. Okay, so database are managed generally by some special software known as the database management software, which is also known as the DBMS. That can be known as also DBMS. So next we'll discuss about the database management system. Actually, what is this? What is the database management system? Specially designed, this is an application to create connections between the user and the programs and to store the data in an organized manner. The purpose of the DBMS software is allow the user to create, modify and control a database. Okay, one example, some database example we can take, just like Oracle, MySQL, okay, Foxpro, dBase, etc. These are some examples of the database. So DBMS gives us tools, different tools it gives. One by one I am discussing. Store data in a structured way. Query the database, that is ask questions about the data. Sort and manipulate the data in the database. Validate the data entered and check for inconsistency. Produce flexible reports, both on screen and paper, that make it easy to comprehend the information stored in the database. So these are some tools we are using. So also it maintains the data consistency in case of multiple user. So now let us see what is the need of DBMS. Database system is used to eliminate the problems of data redundancy and data inconsistency. The database system does not maintain the separate files for different applications. Rather, it works on the centrally maintained database, which means that data is kept at one place and all the applications that require the data may refer to this database. Whenever any file get updated, the updated version of the file is available to all applications using the database systems. So data redundancy and data inconsistency are controlled to a large extent. This is the main reason just to need a database. So now we'll see some components of the database. Main components are, we can say, that is called user. We are the user. Usually a database administrator, system or application developer, and the end users. DBMS provides the critical services to the users. Database creations, database maintenance, database processing. So second one is database applications. Second component is database applications. Database applications may be personal, departmental, enterprises, internal. Okay, it may be general purpose or customized as per the need for the user. Okay, next component is we'll discuss, that is called the DBMS. Software that allows users to define, create, access, manage databases is termed as DBMS. For example, we can take MS, SQL, Oracle, etc. Another component we'll discuss, that is called collections of logical data. That is called the database. Let us discuss some advantages of the DBMS. What are the? Apart from the various silent features described, a DBMS has several advantages over traditional data processing techniques. First, number one, control data redundancy. Duplication of the data leads to wastage of the storage space. A DBMS eliminates that redundancy. Redundancy means duplication of the data by integrating the files so that multiple copies of the same data are not stored. Number two, data consistency, not inconsistency, data consistency. DBMS provides data consistency to a large extent as the changes made at one place are reflected at all other places or to all the users. Number three, sharing of data. Sharing of data using the DBMS implies that not only can be existing applications share the data in the database, but also that new applications can be developed to operate against the same stored data. Number four, we'll discuss reduced programming efforts. DBMS saves a lot of programming efforts since a user need not write programs for query processing involving several tables or files, report generations, addition, modifications, deletions of data. Thus, it provides easy retrieval of the data. Next point, we'll discuss database enforces standards with the centralized control of the database. The DBMS or database administrator, we can say, can ensure that all applicable standards are followed in the representation of the data, that is format, documentation, standard, conventions, etc. Okay. Then another we'll discuss improve data integrity. Data integrity refers to the validity of consistency of stored data. Example we take, the system itself checks for the correct information to be entered by the user in the correct format. It consists of various constraints. Next point we'll discuss privacy and security. Data security, it refers to protections of the data against accidental or intentional disclosure to unauthorized persons. Since there is a centralized control, the data is protected. Next point we'll discuss, that is economical. Combining all the organization's operational data into one database and creating a set of applications that works on the single source of the data can result in cost saving. The overall maintenance cost of data is reduced. Next, number 9 points. Improved backup and recovery system. A database system provides facility for recovering for hardware and software failure also. Next point, solving enterprise requirements, then individual requirements. Since various types of users with varying levels or technical knowledge use a database, a DBMS should provide a variety of user interface also. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the DBMS models. What is that? Let us see. DBMS models. DBMS model, or we can say it is data models. What is this? It means how the logical structure of a database is modeled. A data model means it is an integrated collection of the conceptual tools that can be used to describe the structure of the database along with the appropriate data types, relationships, constraints required to be applied on the data. That is called the data DBMS models. So we should possess some following desirable characteristics. I am discussing one by one. What are the characteristics are there? Data models should be presented graphically using diagram and symbols. Number 2, data representations in a data model should have no data redundancy. Number C, it should be made available and shared by various applications. Number D, data represented should be consistent, stable and valid in all respects. So if we will discuss about the type of the data models, so different type of data models are there, just like object based data model, record based data model, physical data model. So generally record based data model we are discussing, it is divided into 3 parts. One is the hierarchical model, network model, and one is the relational model. Okay, so what is hierarchical model? Hierarchical model means what data model we are discussing? That is organized as a tree rather than the graphs. Which one? Hierarchical model, or hierarchical model also we can say. Okay, so next we'll discuss about the network data model. It is not according to our syllabus, that's why I'm telling you only one line definition for each. So the network model is a database model received as a flexible way of representing object and their relationships. Okay, that one is the tree format, and this one is the representing the object and their relationship flexible way. Next we'll discuss about the relational data model. Which one is the very important? Relational data model. The most popular data model in DBMS is the relational model. It is more scientific and stable model than the other 2 models, since there are no pointers involved with the stable model. Okay, with the records, since there are no pointers involved with the records, and in case of any fault or error, these pointers may result in inconsistency among the records and lead to the reduced data integrity. So in this model, data is organized in 2-dimensional tables called relations. Okay, so now we'll discuss about the relational database. Let us discuss relational database. So before discussing the relational database, some terms or terminology related to the relational database we'll discuss one by one. The first one is entity. What is this? We'll see. An entity is something that exists and about which we can store some informations. It is an object which can be distinctly identified. Example, student entity, employee entity, item entity, etc. Library entity. So these are some entity attributes. In relational table, an attribute is a set of values of particular type. The term attribute is also used to represent a column. A table consists of several records. Each record can be broken into several small entities, which is known as the fields, and these fields also known as the attributes. Next we'll discuss about the tuples. Each row in a table, which is known as record also, that is also known as tuple. A single entity in a table is called a record. A single line we can say record or row. A record in a table represents a set of related data. For example, suppose a student having roll number, name, class and sections. The whole information of a student is known as tuple. One by one relations. cardinality of relations. What do you mean by this? It is the number of records or tuples in the relations. How many records are there? How many tuples are there? Suppose a table having 5 rows or 5 records means cardinality equal to 5. Degrees of the relations. Number of columns or attributes we can say, that is known as the degree of relations. Thus, the degree of students' relations will be according to its field, according to its fields or attributes. Suppose one relations having 4, that is name, roll number, class, so that means 3. Domain of relations. It defines the kind that represents by the attribute. It is a set of all possible values, okay, that an attribute may contain. Example, we can say, suppose male, female is given, that is the data, but we can say it is the domain also. Then body of the relations, it consists of the unordered set of the 0 or more tuples also we can say. Now I am giving you some examples, which is the tuples, which is the attribute, which is the domain. You see it properly. So therefore we can say here some examples are given. Okay, so how many tuples are there, how many that is how many attributes are there, okay, what are the domains, what are the, like this it is described. In this table it is given there are 10 tuples are there, cardinality equal to 10, and 4 attributes means degree equal to 4. Roll number, name, address and gender are the attributes names. The first tuple contains the value, that is 1 and Rinku Sharma, Tilak Nagar, F. The domain of the attribute, gender, is male and female. So these are some components or terms we are using. So by showing a tables I have shown you. Okay. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.